The year is 1652. The North Sea is a canvas of gray, its cold waters reflecting an equally somber sky. Upon this unforgiving expanse, to mighty fleets glide shadows in the mist. They are English and Dutch warships, rivals in trade, yet officially at peace. No war was declared. No battle was planned. This was supposed to be a patrol, a show of strength to protect merchant lanes, not a prelude to bloodshed. In the mid-17th century, the Republic of the Netherlands and the Commonwealth of England were the world's maritime superpowers. Their relationship was a complex dance of alliance and antagonism. They were fellow Protestant nations that had fought side by side against Catholic Spain. But now, with that common enemy gone, their rivalry for control of global trade routes had reached a fever pitch. England, under Oliver Cromwell, passed the Navigation Acts, a direct challenge to Dutch dominance in shipping. These laws mandated that goods imported to England must be carried on English ships or ships from the country of origin, effectively cutting out the Dutch middlemen who had grown wealthy on carrying trade. The tension was palpable, but open war, it seemed unthinkable. Their economies were deeply intertwined. War would be ruinous for the merchants and politicians on both sides. The fleets patrolling the North Sea were meant to be a deterrent, a flexing of naval muscle. The commanders, men like Dutch Lieutenant Admiral Martin Tromp and English General at Sea Robert Blake, were seasoned sailors, not reckless warmongers. They were there to enforce their nation's will, to protect their convoys, and to demand respect. It was this demand for respect that would light the fuse. An ancient English custom, long a point of contention, required all foreign ships in the English Channel and North Sea to lower their flags in salute to an English warship. To the proud Dutch, this was a humiliating assertion of English sovereignty over seas they considered free. To the English, it was a non-negotiable right, a symbol of their naval might. On a fateful day in May 1652, off the coast of Dover, these two fleets met. Admiral Tromp, commanding a Dutch fleet, encountered a smaller English squadron led by Robert Blake. The weather was squally, visibility poor. Communication was a clumsy affair of flags and cannon shots, easily misinterpreted. Blake expected the customary salute. Tromp, possibly delayed by the weather or perhaps defiant, did not immediately dip his flag. The distance between the fleets shrinks. On the English decks, sailors watch the Dutch masts, waiting for the flag to drop. On the Dutch ships, there is confusion, perhaps indecision. Blake, a stern and resolute commander, sees this failure to salute as a deliberate insult. He orders a warning shot fired across the bow of Tromp's flagship, the Brederode. The sound cracks through the tense silence, a sharp punctuation mark in the quiet sea air. Another shot follows. Then a third, this time striking the Brederode itself, tearing through sail and splintering wood. The moment hangs, suspended in time. On both sides, men freeze. Officers stare, disbelief etched on their faces. This was not the plan. Tromp, a veteran of countless battles, is said to have been taken completely by surprise. He was escorting a convoy, not seeking a fight, but now his ship has been fired upon. His flag, a symbol of his nation's honor, is under attack. Pride swells, overriding caution. To not respond would be an admission of weakness, an act of cowardice his country would never forgive. The Dutch drums begin to beat a frantic rhythm, the call to action. One shot was fired, and history crossed a point of no return. In a decision made in seconds, a decision that could not be undone, Admiral Tromp returns fire. Not a warning, but a full broadside. The air erupts. The gray sea is suddenly lit by flashes of orange and red. Cannonballs tear through the air, smashing into wooden hulls, sending splinters flying like deadly shrapnel. The quiet tension shatters into the chaotic roar of naval combat. Neither side was truly prepared for this. Their navies were not fully mobilized for a prolonged, all-out war. They were designed for patrol, for escorting merchants, and for fighting pirates. England's Commonwealth was still finding its feet after a brutal civil war. The Dutch Republic was a confederation of provinces, often divided in their political aims. Their economies, built on the very trade that was now disrupted, were incredibly vulnerable. The commanders, fueled by naval pride and a supreme confidence that the other side would surely back down, had miscalculated catastrophically. They had stumbled into a war that their political masters in London and The Hague had desperately tried to avoid. The battle rages for hours, a brutal, close-quarters affair. Masts topple, sails are shredded, and the decks run red. But there is no clear victor. As evening falls, the fleets disengage, battered and bruised, limping away under a darkening sky. The silence that returns to the sea is different now. It's not the silence of peace, but the quiet of dread, the eerie calm before a much larger storm. The news of the clash at Dover raced back to London and The Hague, igniting outrage and patriotic fervor. The chance for diplomacy was gone. The single shot fired in a moment of pride and misunderstanding had made war inevitable. The First Anglo-Dutch War had begun. It would be a conflict fought entirely at sea, a brutal contest between two naval giants, costing thousands of lives and vast fortunes. And it all started here, in the cold gray waters of the English Channel, not with a grand strategy or a declaration of intent, but with a misunderstood signal, a flash of gunpowder, and a fatal surge of pride. The world before the storm was gone, and the first great naval war of the modern era had just begun. Thank you for watching. If you found this journey into the past insightful, please like this video and subscribe for more stories from history. See you next time.